So in this video, I wanted to spend a few minutes talking about the Tombow Zoom Ying Rollerball. This is a pretty new high-end rollerball from Tombow in their Zoom series. It's an all-metal pen. It's really quite handsome, and it is on the high-end side. I think retail price is about $110 or 110,000 Japanese yen. So it's definitely not a cheap acquisition, and it's kind of in line with the Tombow Zoom 101, which is that carbon fiber fountain pen, rollerball, and ballpoint pen I looked at a few months ago. So this is the Zoom Ying, sometimes called the Zoom Ying Samon. That's Samon, and that word means ripples, and that's because these ridges in the aluminum body sort of resemble ripples in water. At least that's the intention, or the ripples in a Japanese garden, something like a raked stone garden, something like that. But anyway, that's the name. So let's get into the pen, which is pretty cool, and I've been enjoying using it. So it's all aluminum, has a nice kind of, I guess it's machined aluminum body, spring-loaded metal clip, quite nice. The ridges, or those water ripples, or whatever you want to call them, extend for the whole length of the body, which is a quite striking design, and they did a really nice job there. Tombow does work metal quite well, and we've seen that in a number of their pens. It's a screw top rollerball, metal on the inside. This is black polished metal, so it's like a glossy metal, quite nice, although not really in keeping with this really handsome aluminum here. We've seen this gloss sort of finish on a few different Tombow pens, and it's fine, but you can see it definitely wears right here on that threading. You could see it's starting to wear, and the pen's pretty new. It's not, obviously I've been using it, but I would say this is a relatively new pen, and you're seeing it lightening here, whereas the rest of the pen body is in clearly immaculate shape. The pen does post, which is quite nice, and it has a pressure fit there. Posted, it's a really big, heavy pen, which is all metal, so I don't think you would ever actually post it, but you could if you wanted. It's more thoughtful that it allows the posting than it's something you'll actually do. Looking at the cap and the different parts, you could see it is really quite nice. The machining work on the pen is super clean. There's a nice printed logo right there. It says Tombow, Japan. Here's that clip. It's a little sharp feeling. There's some not rigid. There's some sharp edges to it because it keeps that really clean aesthetic, which I think is part of the pen and like part of what makes it look so nice. But that's a pointy corner. Like if you stab yourself in the leg with that, or you're sticking in your pocket and you get jabbed with that, it's not super pleasant. The pen follows through on that design, although there are no sharp edges. Just really nice metalwork here with a body. It's a satin finish. It's not a gloss finish, so it's a really nice satin finish where you really get to take advantage of that aluminum. There's that clean cap there, really the clean top there where the cap goes, really nice. Sort of reminds me of the Muji aluminum fountain pen where the cap slides into the top of the pen itself. There's that glossy metal. It's nice and it's comfortable, but the wearing here on the threading is a little bit annoying. When you want to take it apart, you can see it unthreads right here. And now inside we have the second set of threading, obviously, and this is a standard Tombow rollerball. It's a proprietary size. It's their water-based liquid rollerball, liquid rollerball. It is water-based, but they call it their liquid water ball. This is, I believe, a 0.5 millimeter, which is their standard fine size, but it's sold in a few different sizes and in blue and black and maybe green and red. The rollerball is a proprietary size, and it fits in nicely, but swapping it out for something else is going to be a problem because it is quite short, and the contour of the rollerball up here is not quite like that of too many pens. So it's really a hard rollerball or refill to replace. There's a little bit of a spring in the back, which you could see here. It's a really tight spring, and I'm not really sure if it comes out. I don't think it does. So that would maybe aid getting a different refill in there, but I haven't really had any luck. And there's no spring at the front, so it is an exact fit at the front. It's a little bit of a squeak here, so sorry about that. This is a larger pen, as is befitting of the higher price tag, but it's a large pen nonetheless. Here's it next to a Lamy Safari, which is definitely, it's plastic, but it's a good size pen. And you could see the two next to one another here. This Safari is a bit longer, but it is a fountain pen. As far as the writing goes, the Tombow Rollerball refill, it's quite nice. It's really smooth. It's fun to use. They're not that easy to find. Obviously, you could buy them online, Amazon, other places. They're not hard to get there, but it's not typically something you could find at a local store. So you have to keep a few of them on hand. They wear out fairly quickly, and some of the older ones definitely do leak. So if you buy one of these pens used, not really this one, because it's pretty new, but if you buy a Tombow used, the first thing you want to do is get rid of that rollerball refill. The refill itself is quite smooth, and it uses a permanent, or some of them are sold as a permanent pigment-based ink, which is quite nice. So this is the Tombow Zoom Ying. So this one is sold in this gray and also a darker gray, which is sort of like a, I don't know, a gunmetal or something like that. They're both aluminum. It's the same materials, but the finish on this one is light and the finish on the other one is dark. I haven't seen that one in person, but I really do like how this pen looks. So that pretty much covers it. The Tombow Zoom Samon is a good-sized aluminum pen. It's heavy, but not overly heavy. Very well made. I'd say it's fairly comfortable to use, but it wasn't designed with comfort in mind. It was designed with aesthetics in mind, and sometimes you feel that as you're writing. It's a little bit back heavy, which is typically not my favorite. The pen, when you're holding it, I'd say it looks a little bit awkward because it is so much wider at the back here than it is at the front. It looks sort of like a kind of that spike type shape we see now and then, where it goes wide and it tapers down. So not a problem necessarily, and it doesn't have too much back weightedness to it, but there's definitely some. So if that's not your thing, if you don't like a Retro 51 Tornado or pens like that, then this is safely one you could skip. The other conventions that make it, or other designs that make it a little bit uncomfortable are, again, some of those pointy pieces. The metal ridges look very cool, but they're actually more slippery than you'd expect. And then they don't have the ridges here, so you're holding on to glossy metal, which is not everyone's favorite. I haven't found to be problematic or slippery, but you're definitely putting your fingers on a ridge here, and then on this threading. You could barely feel the threading, so that's not a problem, but the ridge is noticeable. So that's the Zoom Ying. Quite nice. Expensive, but not unreasonable given the build quality. And I've been enjoying using it. And I figured some people would have seen this pen around and had some questions about it. So hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.